All right. So JTI, also known as Japan Tobacco International, firmly believes in freedom. For them, the possibilities are limitless when you're free to choose. The company has spent the last 20 years innovating, creating new and better products for their consumers to choose from. Again, freedom. So which is how they were able to grow 130 countries. So business isn't just business for JTI. It includes their people, their talent, and their potential. So the organization believes that amazing things can happen to the business when being true to oneself. So when you're ready to choose a career you'll love in a company you love, feel free to hashtag join the idea. So now we head on to JTI's People and Culture Business Support Director, Danji Reyes. So Danji Reyes he joined JTI in December 2020 with experience from local and regional PNC roles in various industries. His role in JTI is to provide support to the PNC function on various topics such as talent acquisition, learning, organization development, and total rewards. He is an accountant by profession, and he found a vocation in pursuing a career in the human capital profession. He is also an advocate of the diversity and inclusion agenda and believes that the same will contribute to the success of any organization. So please, guys, please join me in giving a warm welcome to JTI speaker Danji Reyes.
Yes, thank you.
Hello.
Hello, thank you. Thanks, Felicia and Cass from Workbean. Thanks to the Workbean team for organizing this event. I don't know if it's raining in Manila now, but here in Batangas, it started to rain. So you might hear some noise, unnecessary noise in the background. I hope not. But yeah, so thank you. Thanks, Workbean, for giving us the opportunity to share something about our company, JTI. A lot of you may not necessarily know the company, the company name itself, but you may have come across some of our brands like Winston, Livius, etc. So that should give you an idea that JTI is the producer of those brands. Okay, so yun. Let me begin by sharing a bit of a story about myself. Hindi po ako pinanganak with a silver spoon. Unfortunately, when I graduated from college, I was really raised by a middle class family, so I didn't really have the luxury to choose, or I didn't really have the option, to choose where to go next. In fact, I was kind of forced not to care about my next step in life and perhaps join a company that I didn't like. No, to be honest, no. My first 5 years in of working, actually, I've already joined about 6 companies. Okay, so that should give you an idea. Na I'm that, although HR ako. Okay, I'm your typical job hopper. Okay, I don't know if you've encountered the term, pero I really admit that I used to be a job hopper. It took me 5 years before I discovered what I really wanted to do. And in fact, in one of my interviews, I still remember this old lady asking me about, okay, so how can you assure us that you will stay with the company? Okay, because she has seen that in my CV that I've made a lot of moves in the last 5 years of my career, and that was a question that I didn't necessarily answer correctly. In fact, I just made up my answer during that time. I wish I had the maturity now. No, during that time, I would have answered. Okay, so maybe I would have answered the same question. That what can the company do to make me stay? Okay, the world is changing, my dear friends. Before, of course, we still need to prove ourselves to the company that we're qualified for the roles that we're applying for. But it has changed. Eventually, and I guess the future of talent acquisition and recruitment will be a bidding war, against companies and with talent. So before you're able to get a specific person for a specific role, you really have to
put on the table what are the things that you can offer. Hence, the title of our presentation, Feel Free Not to Care because JTI does. Well, you don't necessarily have to care about what other people might think. You don't necessarily have to care about um, the environment or the culture, etc. Because as a company, we care. You know? And as a company, we feel responsible for caring for our employees, and I'll elaborate a bit on that later. Okay, so there you go. If I can just share my screen, can I do that?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Sige. I thought it was already my presentation. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
All right. So let me introduce to you our company. So it's a leading multinational tobacco and vaping company. We believe in freedom because of the nature of products that we sell. Um, So this should give you an idea about our footprint globally. We've got about 396 offices, 6 tobacco processing facilities, 8 research and development centers, and about 20 plus factories all over the world. You can also see here that 2019 marks our 21st consecutive year of profit growth. So it's a very profitable company with approximately around 12.4 billion US dollars as core revenue. So that should give you an idea that the company is indeed very profitable. Hence, we invest a lot on people development and growth, and we have the resources, no, to launch programs and initiatives that are geared towards the growth and development and caring of our people. Okay. So let's look at some key people data of the company. We've got about 44,000 employees globally, 115 nationalities. We're present in 130 countries. That includes our duty-free locations where you don't necessarily have a JTI employee in that specific location. It's being managed in a different country. And for 7 years now in a row, we've been um, certified as a top employer, okay, by popular and industry accepted certification bodies, right? So just a bit of fact. Um, we Filipinos make up 12.9% of JTI's workforce. So that's a significant number. If you would look at our global figures, in fact, we're the third largest market of JTI globally. No, I'll be sharing some of these and more detailed information in my next few slides. But just so you know, Philippines is a significant market for JTI. Whatever we do in this market actually influences everything, no, in the global organization. Okay, so just so everyone knows um, the evolution of the company. So I said we're the third largest market. We used to be a very small market though, of about 40 employees, but we've grown to about 5,000 employees now, and I'll get to that later. But this was highly driven by the acquisition of a big local industry player in the past. So in 2017, we've acquired a company called Mighty Corporation. So it was an acquisition of assets that allowed us to grow in the country. And then also in the same year, 2017, we have started building our factory, which caters not only to local or domestic requirements, but also to export requirements for other JTI locations. Okay. Very recently in 2020, despite the pandemic, we went on and established what we call a global business services center. We call it GBS. So it's our shared services arm which caters to not only the Philippines, but also to other locations, English-speaking locations worldwide. So by opening this site, we've managed to recruit around 200 people. Again, we did all these despite the pandemic. So, you know, you can imagine that the first few days, people really didn't report to the office for work. They actually just got their laptops. It was sent to their homes and they commenced working from home. Okay, which we still do until today, right? Okay, so they say that our company is a tobacco company in the consumer goods industry or a consumer company in the tobacco industry. But at the end of the day, we are still a people business, regardless of the industry. So our business is actually people business, no? And basically, I'd like to highlight or focus a bit more on diversity and inclusion. Okay, so and I'd like to ask the group, our participants here today, got about I think 200 plus participants. I'd like to throw in a question. Okay, and the first five who will answer the question will get a prize from JTI. So, what do you think about diversity and inclusion? So, if we talk about diversity and inclusion, what does that mean for you or to you? Okay, so I'm seeing
Yan
some
guys,
answers
answer
here.
na. You'll get prizes.
Wow, yan na. So,
Yan na, dumadami na.
dumadami na. So, we've got Ruth, Cabria, flexibility and choice. That's a very good answer. Lorenzo Ingan, Jose Lorenzo Ingan, walang discrimination. Terence Arcalas, there is a sense of belongingness. Wow. Rose Ann Briones, diversity in gender, race, ethnicity. Jorel Bataluna, diversity means differences and choices. So there you go. We've got the first five answers. So I know Diana's here, so please take note of these five people, and yeah, please send us. I don't know how it will work, Cass or Felicia, but are they supposed to give their addresses to you guys, and you can send it to us so that we can send them the
Yes.
package?
The easiest way to do it is wait for Zane. So see Zane is here. Those the five, no, first five, Danji, is that correct?
Yes, first five.
Okay, the
Yep.
first five people, Zane will reach out to you. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Work where you belong. No gender and race barrier. Everyone. So wow, very active audience. A safe space. Okay. So thank you for your answers. They're all correct. They're all correct. In fact, diversity and inclusion is basically managing your unconscious bias, as we call it. So all diversity and inclusion efforts starts by managing your unconscious bias. We are hardwired as human beings to have certain biases towards certain people, depending on obviously what our background is and you know what our set of beliefs are. But definitely it's trying to eliminate or somehow mitigate, you know, the impact of our unconscious bias towards people, which therefore allows the company to become more sustainable, you know, and successful in the end. As I always say, diversity and inclusion is a key aspect in every company's success. The diversity of ideas, diversity of talent. So diversity is not just about gender or gender preference or age or generation. It's really more about companies, okay, or organizations allowing people to express themselves freely without bias, without discrimination. Okay, and that's really something that we value in JTI, and you know I'd like to share a few information about what we do from diversity and inclusion front. And yeah, would like to entertain more questions later on if you have any. So thank you for your answers, and moving on. just to give you an idea how diverse we are, in the Philippines alone, we've been in the country for almost 20 years now. Again, as mentioned in an earlier slide, we used to be a very small operations, but now we've grown multiple folds, okay, from where we were 20 years ago. So there's a total of about 5,000 JTI employees scattered in three legal entities. Okay, so you've got what we call the market entity, that's JTI Philippines, which hosts the sales organization. So most of the employees in this legal entity are sales and commercial people, meaning sales and marketing people. And then you have our factory located in Batangas, that's AMC. I would say that's about a quarter of our no, not really a quarter, but a fifth of our population. Okay, and then you've got GBS, no, which is the newest legal entity that we have. It's our shared services arm. If you look at the demographics, average age is about 33 years old. So we are a very young population. Okay. Average years of service or length of career in JTI, that's 7.5 years. Okay, industry average, I guess, around 5 to 6 years. Attrition rate, which should give you an idea of how many people stay in their roles in JTI. Okay, that's 3.6%, meaning that's your turnover rate. How many people resign? So about 3 out of 10 people. No, sorry, less than 3. Maybe about 4% is about 1 out of 10 people, no, leave the company every year. Okay, so that's about, as compared to the industry average, which is about 14.1%. So that should tell you that people in JTI are relatively engaged set of individuals, and they are here to stay for the long haul. Okay. So how do we do it? How do we encourage people to stay and work for the company for long? We bottom line, we present them the opportunities. At the same time, we respect their freedom of choice, and we allow them to be themselves. Okay, I think that's the most important part. We allow people to be themselves and choose what they're passionate about when it comes to delivering work. Okay, so here are some of the initiatives, okay, that I'd like to share. Thank you, Cass, for the comment. Okay, so some of the initiatives that we've started to do in recent years, so that we ensure that we allow people to feel taken care of. Okay, first is being recognized as an investors in people in the Philippines for the third time. Okay, for creating an amazing work environment. I don't know if you guys are familiar with investors in people, but this is a global accreditation body or certification body that um, and they look at several aspects of employee experience, and from interviews they gather from leaders, from people and culture people or HR people, and from the employees themselves, they come up with a list of things that companies need to focus on. Okay, and from the dimensions of the survey they conduct among employees, they assess whether a company is doing its best to create an amazing working environment. So for the third year now, we've been accredited by Investors in People. That's why whenever you see an ad that we release in the market, we always include an IIP logo, because we're proud to say that the global body, Investors in People, have continuously accredited us for the third year now, which means that our practices as far as human resources or human capital is concerned is widely accepted globally. Okay. Next is work-life balance. Um, so we've been offering, despite the pandemic, where most of our employees work from home. We do make we do ensure that they're also taken care of from a wellness standpoint. So this pandemic has brought a lot of challenges for us, not only with regard to our physical health but also to our mental well-being. So as a company, we've instituted a lot of programs to make sure that our employees are taken care of from a wellness perspective. We offer flexible working hours, so it doesn't matter what time of the day you clock in. Especially, of course, there will be roles that are that the time is really essential, no? But for most of the jobs we have in the company, we don't we allow people to clock in at any time of the day, and at the same time we don't necessarily monitor, your activity on a per minute or per hour basis. Okay, so employees have that freedom to choose what time they're supposed to work. And of course, as many other companies have done, we've allowed people to work remotely, not necessarily in their houses, but also outside the office, I must say. Okay, so we are exploring this topic a bit more, because we are expecting the pandemic to end. So meaning to say, in the future, we have realized a lot of things during the pandemic, and of course we would like to make adjustments, no, post pandemic. So we will continue to allow people to work from home or work remotely, with a certain set of criteria. So we're currently in the process of studying that and finding out what will work best for our people. Okay. Okay, this is very interesting. We've just launched this year what we call a global family leave. Okay, so I've never seen a company who has offered such a program of course, in my experience, and we've just launched this year. The global family leave actually offers 20 weeks of fully paid leave for all for new parents. Okay, or for people who would like to adopt a child, etc. So they'll have the opportunity to take 20 weeks, okay, fully paid, okay, for as long as, obviously, there's proper planning, as to when you will take these 20 weeks off, no? But goes to show that the company really supports those who would like to establish the family of their own. Okay, and this is one special benefit that I'm proud to share, that we have in JTI, and that's very unique to JTI as well. It's very unique to JTI as well. Okay, and then we've started what we call Make It Right Kickstart Initiative, which gives opportunities, okay, to our DNE social classes. So we've got very smart people out there, very talented, and we would like to give them opportunity, by sponsoring their education, okay, and at the same time give them a career, okay, in JTI. Okay, so this is something that we are about to launch very, very soon. And last but not the least, especially now that a lot of us are working remotely, we want to stay connected. We want to ensure that people have something or a platform to turn to if in case they have problems, or if simply they just wanted to talk to someone. So we have this employee assistance program, which is basically a platform where you can reach out to the company for any concerns that you may have, especially now that a lot of us are working remotely, so you can connect to us via phone, web, or via your mobile devices. Okay. So, last but not the least, I think the real message we want to put out there is that we believe when our people can be who they are, amazing things can and will happen for our business. And we've been a very successful company, as mentioned in my previous slide, consecutive for a number of years. We've been very profitable, and I think what made us reach that level of performance is not really our products or how efficient we are in selling or the processes that we have, but really it's about our people. So there were our people are the ones who really contributed, to the overall performance of the company, and we will be as a company very very thankful for that. And as a matter of fact, we continue to evolve and introduce more initiatives and programs. I've mentioned some of them earlier, to make sure that employees will stick around, and stay with us for the long haul. And yeah, so basically that's just about it from my side. I'd like to turn over the presentation now to Workbean, because we have to show the closing video before we go to Q&A. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Danji. Okay, let's now head on to the video. JTI is indeed a people-centric company who empowers their people and their talent. So let's just wait a bit for the video. All right. So Danji, I heard na may pa-quiz ka. Right? Tama?
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. Yes, I do.
Ayan na, guys. Please type JTI if you guys are ready for the quiz. Yes, ayan na sila.
Okay.
Ready na sila.
Very, very active yung audience natin,
Buhay na buhay pa kahit 3:30 na.
Alright.
Maganda yung prizes nila, guys. So watch out and be very.
Okay, so I'm supposed to throw in a few questions, right? So, okay. Right, the first question is, when did the company start in the Philippines? Wow, dami kagad. No? It's actually 1999.
All right. Terrence Arcalas, congratulations. You got it right.
Yes, thank you, Terrence.
Okay. Maybe we could say go muna before you guys answer so that we can monitor easily.
Ang
Ang
bilis
bilis ng answers.
I haven't even finished my question yet.
All right, so wait for the go, guys. para ma-include yung answers nyo.
Okay, next question. Wait,
So again, wait for the go or wait for my chat.
Okay, so what's the global certification body or accreditation body that that recently accredited us for the last 3 consecutive years? That ensures that we create an amazing place to work for. Spell it out,
Ayan na, guys.
Go!
Go, ayan.
Grabe, ang dami. Right.
Wrong spelling, wrong.
Okay. So I think, sorry, ang bilis mag-type.
Yeah. So the answer, what's the answer?
It's investors in people.
All right.
I
Ang
think
nauna si
Ruth.
Jorel.
Ba?
Jurel.
It's actually Jorel because
Jorel. Yes, yes.
yeah.
Okay. Congratulations, Jorel.
Congratulations.
Yan.
Wait,
Yan, may
mo
mga
lang yung
habol
ano,
May mga,
Guys.
may mga
sinasabay ko sa go.
Here's my last question. What is the latest entity of JTI that we opened in the Philippines in 2020? Okay. So what's the latest entity of JTI that we just opened in the Philippines in 2020? Medyo mahirap to.
Okay.
Okay.
1,
1, 2, 3, go! Ayan. Parang may empleyado na nag-participate dito. Hindi naman, ano? Okay. So, yeah, the answer is JTI Global Business Services Center or GBS. Okay.
Alright.
Dapat naka-spell out. Yep.
Spell out. Spelled out.
Yeah. So, sino ba?
Okay. So it's Angela Billones.
Okay, congratulations, Angela. So, yun na yung ating short quiz, pop quiz for this afternoon. Thank you for participating.
All right. Congratulations, everyone. And you'll be winning a tote bag and a jacket. Tama ba, Danji?
Yes, yes.
Yan. Congrats.
Congratulations.
All right. So we will head on to the Q&A session already. So please do ask your questions in the Slido link in the chat box. And can we screen share the Slido, please? Okay, sige. Let's start with Clarence's question muna since hindi kaya ng Slido. So, could you ask, ayan. Her question is, so being a company heavily taxed by the government and even more so from the past few years, how does the organization work on innovating despite the increasing challenges? The follow-up question niya is, also, would you mind to elaborate more about your tagline, Join the Idea?
Okay, Sigurd, let me first answer the first question, which is about us being heavily taxed. Yes, because of the nature of our product, we are actually or every product that we produce are subject to what we call sin tax or excise tax, which is kind of unique for our industry. It's not something that we see as a challenge. Actually, we see that as an opportunity. We, of course, as a company, wanted to really contribute to the success of our economy in this country, and that's the reason why we continue to invest in the country as a company. And you've seen in my previous presentations that, in fact, we are growing our numbers in the country, which tells you that despite this the regulatory environment that we operate in, we continue to grow. Because we respect that governments have the right or freedom to create create opportunities where they can pump up their revenues for the improvement of our economy. So that's where we stand as a company. So yeah, and then you have your second question. What's the second question again?
The second question is if you could elaborate more about your tagline, join the idea.
Okay, so I see Joanna here. Maiba naman. But Joanna, would you like to take that question?
Yes, sure. Hi, guys. Good afternoon. Let me just introduce myself. So I am Joanna, working with Danji, and I'm basically the recruitment and employer branding manager in JTI Philippines. So magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. And a very good question. Why join the idea? Join the idea simply because, it's our idea. It's joining us in Japan Tobacco, where we excel in innovation, where we are always constantly looking for our innovation, whether it is in our product, whether it is in our people, our structure, our organization. So yun talaga yung naging idea namin, and we wanted to have a call to action to join us and join the idea of joining JTI.
All right. I hope, Clarence, that clears up your question
I hope
on
so as
why
well.
it is join the idea. Okay, now we will be heading on to Slido to check out some answers. So, naka-open naman sa akin. So, I'll just be asking you the questions from Slido. So, first question is, what are your thoughts about fresh graduates applying to JTI?
Go ahead, Joanna.
Okay. Okay. Well, we basically welcome them very much. As we said, one of the initiatives that we are heavily investing this year in terms of employer branding is our student program. In whether having the global challenge, which is the Make It Bright challenge, or as well as what Danji has said about the Kickstart initiative, where we are having this initiative or opening the option for working students, where we can invest to them in that sense. So talagang we welcome them with open arms, because we really believe that they are the future. And as you've seen, ang average ng age namin is 33. So, and we welcome them very much, the millennials, the Gen Z, specifically because we know that they will be the next leaders of JTI as well.
Ayan, so they're opening their arms to fresh graduates. Next question is, how has JTI adapted to the current COVID-19 situation?
Okay, sige, let me take that question, Joanna. So, because of this pandemic, a lot of companies have started to show what we call their duty of care, and JTI is not an exception. During this pandemic, we've instituted a lot of initiatives to support their employees. Okay, so one of them is obviously allowing people to work remotely, which is what we're doing now because of certain restrictions imposed by the government. The other thing is that when we are allowed to work in the office, we do free testing for our employees. So that goes every 2 weeks. Our employees get tested for the virus so that we ensure that we maintain a safe and healthy working environment in the office. The second, and in case you get the virus, okay, you are obviously protected with our health maintenance card, or what we call HMO. So that's our health insurance. So our health insurance actually has 2 layers, to ensure that we cover both. We cover employees who are affected by the virus, both if it's just a mild to medium or mid-level symptoms up to severe cases, where there's pneumonia, etc. So we ensure that they're covered by our health insurance policy. And we've set up what we call our very own isolation center, okay, for people who may have had, who are asymptomatic but have tested positive from the virus, and at the same time, or those who have mild symptoms that would require isolation. So that isolation facility is like it's like a hotel facility. Everything is there. Okay, so all our employees need to do is to get in touch with their PNC business partners, and we will provide the transportation going to that isolation facility if needed. Right, so we take care of our employees in those fronts, and aside from that, we provide obviously the usual face masks and alcohol supplies for the employees, for our employees, which I believe are more than enough, that can also cover their family members. No? So Joanna and Diana can attest to that. So yeah, that's basically how we manage the COVID situation. And I think, sorry, one more thing. I think what's important during a crisis is really to continuously communicate to our employees so that they stay connected. So the platform I did mention earlier is very important in the process. So we've ensured that we've activated all possible communication channels so that our employees don't feel lost. So and they have company to turn to, whenever they encounter problems, and not just when they encounter problems, but if they just wanted to share something to the company, or any idea at that, because there is an existing platform that can accommodate. Yep. Thank
All
you.
right, so ayan na nga, they really have extensive protocols for COVID, guys. So for the next question, we have, let's check. So how does JTI do business and innovate?
Okay, I think I'm gonna get this one on all the innovation.
Yes, go ahead.
As JTI, we have the heritage of the Asian culture. It is in our name, Japan. And whenever we hear about Japan, we always have innovation in our heads. And this is also very part of our DNA. We are indeed an international company, as Danji said, about 150 nationalities. Pero we keep this DNA in our mind. And so whenever we look at on our products, whenever we look at on our organization, the ways of working, innovation is always part of it. Kasi minsan pag sinasabi nating innovation, we always tend to just look at the product itself. Pero in our case, ang innovation talaga is with the ways that we are working, with the people that we have, the mindset that we have as well, in order to be free to tell things, to voice out, or to suggest ideas. So for example, lately lang, we've conducted a global ideation where people everywhere, all the employees of JTI, can give and send out their ideas, whether it is on their daily work, on the product that we have, or even just minor things, even on IT specific things. So we really want to make sure that people has the platform to tell us about their innovation and act on it as well.
All right. So a follow-up question would be, I guess, what's the company culture at JTI like?
Sorry, hi. Yeah, I think I can take that one. Sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
I'll just introduce myself really quickly. So my name is Diana. I am currently the employer branding specialist at JTI. So I guess I would summarize JTI's culture into 3 words. So we're very creative, it's very dynamic and multicultural. So I think it has been mentioned several times earlier that we're an international company. So it's a very good culture to collaborate because everybody is very open and productive. Yeah. So yeah.
Yes, and again, with what Danji has said multiple times in his presentation, you guys are very people-centric. So for the next question, we have, Since you are a tobacco company, how do you handle health and safety of your customers as well as the environmental impact?
Okay, so let me take that question. Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, sure. So this
I
has 5 votes. So since you are a tobacco company, how do you handle health and safety? How do you handle the health and safety of your customers as well as the environmental impact?
Mhm. Okay, so if we talk about our products, no, we do follow certain protocols. Okay, that has been set by the law and the government. No, if you can see the packaging of our products, there are health warnings. In fact, at point of sale, we also ensure that access to our products are limited to legal age individuals. So that's something that we ensure that you know, first is access and the access to the product and then the product itself. Okay, so again, we all know that tobacco products, our own products, are dangerous to our health, and people should be aware of that. That's why the packaging of our products would contain those messages as well. And yeah, we ensure that the access to our product, we make sure that only 18 years old and above or legal age individuals get access to our product, because we believe that you know, at this age you already have the freedom to choose. Okay, and we respect that freedom to choose, both for smokers and non-smokers, right? And then the second question, sorry, can you say that again?
For the second question, how does JTI handle health? How does JTI handle the environmental impact?
Okay, so we do have a factory in Batangas, no? And we follow proper waste management. Okay, so we have in that facility we have a wastewater treatment facility. Okay, which is way beyond industry standard. I guess it's, you know, you can call it technologically advanced. So we invest in proper waste management, no, particularly in our factory. As far as taking care of the environment is concerned, we've also launched programs in the past that support information dissemination and activities that are geared towards taking care of nature or the environment, no, such as you know, tree planting activities, carbon footprint, information dissemination. Okay, so as a global citizen, JTI is very active in this particular area, be it in the CSR front, and us as employees or us in people and culture, we ensure that our employees are educated about these things, and they're also well informed about what the company is doing in this front.
All right, thank you so much for answering that question. Next, we have a question from Richard Baisera in the chat. So maybe you could ask this yourself, Richard, since your camera is open. You can unmute yourself and ask the question if you'd like. Ayan, he's unmuted.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Okay.
Good afternoon. Hi, Richard.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. In terms of benchmarking, sir, can you share JTA best practices for job satisfaction for the employees? Thank you.
Okay, so sorry, am I muted? Okay, we're talking about benchmarking here. Okay, so we have a standard process about benchmarking, Richard. Okay, so every year we participate in a what we call a compensation or salary survey. Okay, where a lot of multinational companies also participate in. Okay, so these surveys are organized by companies like or consultancy companies like Willis Towers Watson or Mercer. So most multinational companies in Asia participate in this survey and they generate results. No, so for example, let's say an admin staff no is being paid example lang 20,000 pesos. Okay? So if all these companies pay for an admin staff at 20,000 peso level, then that will appear in their report that the average benchmark is 20,000. So JTI, our positioning is we wanted to be at the 75th percentile of the market, meaning we want to be at the first 25%, okay, in terms of pay in the market. So meaning to say, we belong at the first, what we call first quartile or first 25%. Okay, so ganun yung compensation philosophy namin, and we do this annually so that we ensure that our compensation and benefits practices remain to be competitive. Again, let me just tell you that our goal is not to be the highest paying employer in the market. Our goal is to be one of the most competitive. Okay, and that's how we benchmark basically.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Richard.
Okay, so for another question in the chat, we have a question from Rose Briones. So she asked, can a non-smoker like me apply in your company? Do you have a separate smoking area for smokers and separate area for non-smokers?
Yeah, I'll allow Joanna to answer that.
Sure, no problem. Yes, I mean it's part of the thing, we anyone can join JTI, especially non-smokers, and I think I can even attest to that. There are more non-smokers in our company than smokers, to be frank. And in terms of the separation, we do have a separate smoking area. So it's not like if you would be, we do take care of the health regulations here in the Philippines. So we do have separate smoking areas or allotted smoking areas within the building in that sense, so that we don't bother those that are non-smokers as well. So we do not encourage that kind of thing, having a kind of like an aquarium effect, let's say. And we really make sure that the non-smokers have the choice to either go somewhere else or the smokers have their dedicated place as well.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Liz. I just have one question. I might be putting Diana on the spot here, but I'm curious because I think this might be your age group, right? I'm just curious, what made you join JTI?
Naman, tinamahan kami ni Joanna doon.
Hot seat.
Ouch.
Hindi. Oy, that was a super subtle way, guys. Naramdaman mo pa rin.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. Umabot sa akin, ano pa rin eh. Okay, okay.
No, but I'm
Sige,
curious,
it's okay.
right? Diana, why did you join JTI?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, so that definitely, yeah, it might be my age group. So you guys might be curious. I'm actually still new here. And like I mentioned earlier, I am an employer branding specialist, right? And I think what really caught my eye with JTI is really how they take care of their employees and how they marketed it externally. And now that I'm in, I really see how it's executed and how happy people are. And I believed in that brand when I saw it, and that's really what caught my eye in the first place. Yeah, because since I am an employer brand, yeah, so it was really the branding point, and I really feel like in my role now, I'm doing something that I believe in, at least with how we take care of our people. Yes.
Okay. So perfect, right? So you joined them because you believe so much in the execution of how they make sure that all the employees are taken care of. And
Yes, so
I guess
I-
for everybody here, that's what they're going to experience when they join JTI as well.
Yes.
Cool.
Thanks for the question.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry, but guys, that's the thanks for answering. But I'm so sorry, guys. That's the last question. But then again, diba, JTI, all the three businesses of JTI in the Philippines. So that's JT Asia Manufacturing Corporation, which is the manufacturing arm. That I think nandun si Danji ngayon sa Batangas. And
No,
number
I'm at
two,
home. Just so
JTI.
happened that
Oh, you're at
I live
home.
near the factory. Yes. Yes.
Got you. Okay,
Yes, yes.
then there's also JTI GBS, which is the Global Business Services Center, plus JTI headquarters itself, which is in BGC naman, which is yung global headquarters. I guess the salespeople are there. You guys are there, Diana, Joanna, and probably Danji as well, right?
Yeah.
So there's 3 different entities. Am I correct, Joanna?
That is correct. But let me just add a little bit more because indeed we have the headquarters here in BGC, but we also have 39 different locations nationwide where we have the branches, where we have all our sales. So if you guys are somewhere not in Manila, but somewhere else, you can look in our offices, our branches, and also have an opportunity to work in your location or in your region, and do not need to even go to Manila right now to be in the headquarters. So that you can also have other options of offices nationwide.
All right. Thank you for the clarification, Joanna. So I guess you guys, wherever you are, I actually just spoke to a JTI employee sa Cebu siya, and she's happily working remotely there. So you guys, I hope, we fight the stigma of whatever it is, yung smoker ka ba, non-smoker ka ba. Doesn't matter because JTI invests in their people and that is their asset. So if that's what you're looking for, I really encourage you guys to come and check out the jobs that they have. Almost all of their jobs are posted on Workbean, but also if you want to super double check, it's available in the GTI careers page. So good luck, everybody, and thank you, Danji, thank you, Joanna, and thank you, Diana.
Thanks
Thank you very
for
much,
having
guys.
us. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Enjoy the rest
Thank
of
you.
the day.
Yes,
Alright.
stay
Thank
safe,
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Okay, guys. So if you guys want to learn more about JTI, their culture, and the jobs available for them, you can come and check out their culture page by scanning the QR code here or by simply typing workbean.co/company/JT International Philippines Incorporated. If the information on their culture page isn't enough and you have more questions, you can simply go to their FAQ page and submit your questions there.